Good afternoon on what is a very warm, bright and sunny day. It is Tuesday the 13th of June. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and I have a box to continue unboxing. I'm going to pull it out of here. Can be a bit tight. Is this, which is Melwan for Shadows of Esteren. Now, Shadows of Esteren is a French setting inspired by Celtic lore, but really more of a kind of Renaissance setting, combining elements of magic, technology, and a little elements of the mythos as well, or certainly cosmic horror. It's been going for a few years. Typically, Studio Agate brings out like one supplement for a year, but they're fantastic supplements. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. If you've not looked at anything for Esteren so far, then do track down Esteren 0, which is the quick start for the setting, and that gives you everything you need to play. So, Esteren Melwan, gothic horror and dark romanticism in a universe inspired by Celtic legends. Intended for the game leaders and players, the Shadows of Esteren book focuses on Melwan, the Vale adjacent to Durg's half RPG supplement, half art book. It will take you to the heart of the Tri-Kazalian land in an atmosphere at the same time intimistic and mysterious. Through a narrative exposition, Melwan takes you on a journey with Noella the Bard as your guide. As a typical mountain vale, Melwan's landscape is varied, made of cliffs, forests and swamps, dominated by an ancient castle. Travellers who stop at the village's inn for a night or two only have the faintest idea of what is going on in the region. This supplement includes plentiful world-building material and many game aids, such as Tales of Fur and Feathers, old classics of the peninsula told by bards for the delight of both children and adults. These moral or satirical tales depict animals going through stories that reflect human situations and preoccupations. Flora and fauna. The locals have developed many ways of gathering and fashioning food, clothes and utilities from their environment, adapting themselves to the current season and surrounding biomes. Concocting potions, Selmith, morphine, searbaze and tiamine are some of the typical medicinal plants of Tri-Kazal. A game dedicated to herbalism provides several examples of the therapeutic concoctions that players can make use of and make themselves. Supply incidents in Tri-Kazal, a simple shopping anomaly can become the starting point for a veritable adventure. Bestiary of Melwan. Learn about the local fauna and discover the powerful Moorbear and the murderous Gilthas man, a Fionn. Now, Fionn are kind of like the evil and noble monsters in the setting. And the thing is, I've been looking at this game on and off ever since it's been coming out, and it's one of the problems because it's only one supplement a year. It kind of feels like it's difficult to keep up with because so I do a couple of these two books, including this is probably a couple of books for this to review, and I have to go back and dig into the setting and reacquaint myself with it. But I'm going to start with this. So let's get the knife to this and get it open. If I can find the opening point, because it looks to be covered in plastic, but I believe, yeah, it opens at the top here. So that's a little, it's difficult to, it's a little thin, fiddly to open. But what I'm looking at here is you're not looking at the top of the book. You're not actually looking at the top of the book. You are looking at a book in portrait format, which comes in its own little box. That's a nice touch. So this is the Melwan supplement. I think essentially the landscape format means it really does kind of get to show off the artwork that sometimes the portrait format doesn't always do. There are plenty of books that do, but you know, for wide open vistas and views, the landscape format is really very good. So here we've got basically the page. Contents page. And forward, and basically, welcome to Melwan. And you've got a description. You've got some of that up. I mean, that's not just artwork. It's a really nicely done map, giving just an overview of the region before we have an actual description. You know, of the various locations. You know, so you've got a colour map there, and then you've got a like the sepia map there. With the text descriptions next to it, basically just giving you, here's the key points, and then we look at the walls of Melwan, you know, there to keep dangers without, and the village of Melwan, and we have an even better view of that. So this is essentially a setting supplement. You know, that the players and the game leader, the game referee, or game master can access and view, and then look at individual buildings like the Old Oak Inn. Regulars. Typical dishes, the Old Oak Inn. So basically, this is bringing it to life, you know, as a point of not really just a case of visiting, but really kind of like, you know, explore a bit more long term. So you've actually just got, you know, typical foods, what actually look to be recipes. So, you know, Shepherd's Eggplant Delight is, for the pleasure of 46 diamonds, first take Phineas turnip mash and set it aside. Carry on with the preparation of stuffing. Cook in eggplant. Chop up a carrot, onion, and half a celery stalk. Cut a pound of white mushrooms into thin slices. Chop 2 cloves of garlic, and so on. So you've got a recipe in here for these dishes in each case, which you could serve at the table as you're playing if you really wanted to. Well, one's apothecary. And description of that, description of what's for sale. So essentially, the other problem, of course, is it's sort of like, you know, of trying to present this book, because it's you know, it's taking the whole picture. So essentially, you've got a basic history of the MacLears in the region and the castle entrance itself. Family tree. So we've got a history of the family, the ruling family in the region, and then an examination of the castle of the MacLears. And then a really nicely done cutaway of the mountain, sorry, of the castle itself. Don't know, I said mountain. And then particular features of the castle, like the MacLears library. What might be found there, discussion of how to become a bard, and then the Demorth Sanctuary, standing stones further into the Vale. And then Talus Essian's laboratory. Flora and fauna of Melwan. Or fauna, yep. The forests, looking at the forests and from the heights as well. So you're looking at different regions, and then, you know, you've got different plants, region by region, up and down the Vale. The Vale during winter, which you've seen on the front cover. Brewing potions and how to gather plants. so you've got poison-based cures, preparations of natural medicine, some potion recipes. So if you're going to become an alchemist or apothecary, this is really useful. Or a herbalist, this is a really useful source book material. Bestiary of the region. Several different creatures, including, of course, the dreaded moorbear, because you can never be short of bear. You've always got moorbear. Yes, I went there. And along in case you've got these creatures, you've got descriptions of an encounter which the player characters could have. It's all accompanied by this really fantastic artwork. And then you've got the Kernid, basically companions. And potentially a replacement for your horse if you are so inclined. And so we come down to, got the glossary at the back. And there's obviously for Esteren itself. Esteren is a fantastic setting, as I said. Not very well known, sort of like in general, role playing in the English language. Is a pity. It was a big hit a few years ago, but obviously with one book a year, it's kind of like it's difficult sometimes to sort of keep up with it because it's not a constant presence. Anyway, so this is Melwan, supplement for Esteren, or Shadows of Esteren. It's published by Studio Agate. It's a lovely book, well worth adding to your Esteren collection, I am sure. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, do please click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching. Be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.